Well, hello, Glue Troopers. Max and Max's Models here. And today I thought we'd take a look at the Revell 1/72nd scale B-24 Liberator. This is a kit that was gifted to me by a Glue Trooper, and it's the original H203 colon 200, which means it's the H203 kit, which sells for $2. And I think that makes this probably one of the original production runs. And before I get started on the kit itself, something about this box art, which I believe was done by Jack Linwood, and that is, for the longest time, I just assumed that it was, your usual 8th Air Force stuff over Europe, but then I looked up the tail flash and realized, wait a minute, that's 9th Air Force, that's out of North Africa. And I looked at the chimneys and, oh, that's the Ploesti raid. So these B-24s would be based out of Libya in the 9th Air Force. That's why it has that British-looking logo on the tail, and it would of course be a bombing mission over Romania, the low altitude Ploesti mission. And that sort of changed the way I look at the kit a little bit. It's funny when you look at box art, and of course good box art tells a story, and you think for years, decades, you think you have a bead on it, like, oh, I know what's going on there, and you find out, oh no, it was something entirely different. Kind of changes the way you look at the kit a little bit. But anywho, this kit, I laid it out. I tried to count them. I think there's about 82 pieces to it. It's 1/72nd scale. This is not Revell's first Liberator. They'd done one in 1/92 scale back in the 50s. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that one in the end because there's a little something about that kit that has been kind of going on that I'll tell you about in just a minute. The instruction sheet is basically 2 pages, and it's exactly what you expect. Good diagrams, pretty clearly marked. The kit actually has a fair number of working components on it. The wheels retract, the control surfaces move, or at least can be positioned. The ball turrets or the turrets can be positioned. So if you build it, make it that way. And of course, it's got a pretty good decal sheet. And of course, you see the British-looking flashes I was talking about that go on the tail, which are actually one of the squadrons in the 9th Air Force. One interesting thing is that the nose gear, which is supposed to be able to retract, although it has detailed instructions on the instruction sheet, they added this blow-up card for extra detail. I'm not entirely sure why. Maybe there was something wrong with the instruction sheet, but I didn't find anything. So laid out all the parts, and the bomb bays are molded on, so there's no bombs or internal bomb bay detail or anything. It's strictly a closed bomb bay model. And of course you have all the clear parts you would expect, and propellers, and I put this ink pen beside it so you can just give you an idea of the size of the thing. Even on 1/72nd scale, it's pretty big when you put it together and eats up a lot of real estate on your display. The engines, of course, have that sort of a wide cheek look, sort of ovalish look, because they have the intakes for the supercharger and the intercooler. And of course, if you want to kit bash this into a C87 like we talked about, you just get you a couple of Catalinas in 1/72nd scale to steal the engines off of, and paint over the nose, remove the guns. It wouldn't be that hard of a kit bash. This kit also came with this promotional literature from the Audubon Society of all things, and it included this card, which it says if you get all, trading cards, and if you get all 24, you can send it into Doubleday to get a Audubon book or something. I'm not really sure how they made the connection between bombers and birds, but okay. The B-24 itself, this particular kit, has been off and on in production for years in various forms, both as the Navy PB-4Y and as the B-24. There's a B-24 with the nose turret and tail turret version that Revell put out also, which I assume was a modification of the same mold, but I could be wrong, so I didn't include it here. But the kit I built it as a kid, and believe me, it was absolutely the artwork that sold it for me. I took one good look at it and said, oh, I want that model, because it's not the most beautiful airplane in the world, but Jack Linwood could do box art that would absolutely get a kid to buy a model. He was the Grand Master. So the 1/92nd scale version from Revell, Eric over at Celebrating Vintage Model Kits and our channel friend Paul Adams have been having an exchange. They've been sending it to me. That's kit number H218. And that's an earlier version B-24, and like I say, in a smaller scale, 1 to 92. And it's been produced in several different boxes also. But they were comparing their boxes of their respective kits. Paul's down in New Zealand, and even though it looks like their kits are both from, quote unquote, the old days, there's differences in the boxes, different printing, different copyright dates, and it caused a lot of confusion over, did Revell send the molds down to New Zealand or send finished kits? They have to run different boxes with different stuff to meet some sort of import requirement, or maybe they did it on all the later versions. Maybe they're made in different batches and runs. That stuff really gets confusing because you're dealing with the inner workings of a company that was, doing what it had to do to meet its contractual obligations, 60, 70 years ago. The instruction sheets apparently look the same, but it looks like they may have actually had one set printed in England, maybe? They're trying to figure that out. Maybe Eric will go into some detail on it on his channel celebrating vintage model kits. I look forward to seeing that because I've been trying to follow their email chain. It gets so confusing. And because this is what grown men do when they retire. If you're interested in that 1 to 92nd scale kit, Atlantis still makes today. So this is what grown men do. Well, guys, that's pretty much it for this evening. I was going to go get some of that Mr. Surfacer at 500 or 600 grit to fill in the pattern on the Bugatti, but none of the hobby shops or any of the craft shops had any of. Even Hurricane Hobbies said they're having trouble getting the stuff. I've already got the 1000 grit, and it's better than nothing, but everybody said use the thicker stuff that comes in the can that you paint on. So it looks like I might have to go online. But I gave the local hobby shop a bite at the apple first. Well, that's where we're at right now, guys. You take care of yourselves. We'll talk to you later. And as always, model on.